This is really quite exciting. We are giving away one of the Shmeemobiles. Today is a last drive, a final send-off before one of you, for free, is going to be taking home one of the cars from the collection. And I know what you're thinking, is it going to be the silver Renault Clio 1.2? No, it is not that, but we're going to be joined today by Christian from BOTB. Before that though, I need to show you which car is under this cover. The car that one of you will be taking home is my Lotus Emira First Edition. You have heard that right. You don't need to buy a ticket. The information is all coming up for completely free. One of you is going to own this. Today, I'm going to take it out for a last drive. My farewell to the Shmeemobile that I've now owned for nearly 2 years. Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I can't believe we're doing this. One of you guys is going to win the Lotus Emira. Rewind for a moment, let's backtrack. You have heard this correctly, all shall be explained. Now, this year, to update on the Shmeemobiles, at the start of the year I took delivery of my Porsche 914, parts of which are over here. The rest of it is at Yorkshire Car Restoration, having this full ground-up rebuild because it's been a bit of a financial disaster. Far too many problems with that. Soon after, it was the arrival of the cheapest Ferrari that you could buy. I won on Collecting Cars, the auction for the Abarth Ferrari Dealer Edition, number 200 of 200, painted in iconic Rosso Corsa, the famous Ferrari red paint. Talking Ferraris, the latest arrival has been the Roma Spider. Early days, lots more still to come with it. But before the year is out, there are a couple more cars coming, namely the SF90XX Stradale and the Dodici Cilindri, the pair of Ferraris which I think are going to touch down before the end of the year, maybe. That's a lot to take in, but only one car has actually left from the collection this year. At the very start, I sold the McLaren Senna. It had been advertised for a while, it did move to a new home. Maybe one day we'll see it again, but of course a sad farewell after 5 years of ownership. It is time though to say goodbye to another car. And how cool is it that this is going to be going to one of you thanks to BOTB? More to explain, but I have worked with BOTB for something like 12 years now, since I first ever drove 200 miles an hour in an Aventador on a special day that they were hosting. Over the years, we have done countless things together. I have met so many winners of the Dream Car competition giveaways. They're now doing a free competition to win this, which is utterly bonkers. I want to just look back though on the Emira's life to date. It has been a very fast 2 years of ownership though, that's for sure. Why am I selling it then? I think to answer that, we need to take a walk down memory lane, because the first time I saw the Lotus Emira was when they presented it for a special media preview in a studio. And like everybody, we knew Lotus were about to drop something new and very exciting. But I was completely blown away. The thing looked amazing, punching so high visually compared to the price point, the entry price point of the car. Then I got to ride in one at the Goodwood Festival of Speed hill climb with none other than Jenson Button. That was such a cool experience. Fast forward though, we spec'd up my car. Eventually I got to see this car at the factory. I went to see my car being finished and produced in Hethel, the home of Lotus. Of course, I then took delivery back in Hethel as well, got to drive it for the first time. We took it to Topaz to do paint protection film over the front end and vulnerable areas. Of course, it's still protected to keep the Hethel Yellow paintwork looking magnificent. We'll have a better look at the spec as well in a moment. But since then, I've driven it a little over 3,000 miles. It was going to be a car that I would drive a little bit more at the track. I drove it at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, had a lot of fun at the Green Hell, experiencing that V6, singing away the manual gearbox in the first edition. It's got the 3.5 litre supercharged V6, but ultimately, it hasn't really fit into the collection where I thought it would. I've enjoyed daily driving it much more than I would have expected, but because I live a couple of miles away, that's meant that the miles haven't really accumulated all that fast. As a result, it's a car that's still in perfect condition, completely head to toe, looking immaculate, but only, like I said, with a little over 3,000 miles on the clock. So I've enjoyed owning it a lot, but time has flown by. Hard to believe that it was almost 2 years ago that I picked this up and took delivery. I didn't think at the time that I might own it for only 6 months or anything like that. I didn't know how long it would be, but probably 2 years is longer than I would have thought. But with so many other cars arriving and going and moving around, I think it's time for the Emira to find a new home. Welcome back to the Shmuseum, Christian.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Good to see you. It's a little bit different than the last time.
A little bit. I mean, I think everything has changed. This place now looks incredible. You've got all your office space. You've got kind of the garage there with all the lighting, all of your number plates. You've got running running water and toilets now.
Yeah, that's a big step up. I should probably point out at this point that about 2 years ago, you came here to visit with your dream car that you had purchased, the Ferrari 458 Spider.
Yep.
You still have it?
Still have it, still love it.
That's what we like to hear. I teased at the time that I would love one in the future. It's very much a car on my wish list. My first ever YouTube video featured a 458. You came by with it, but at that point, we didn't yet have the painted floor.
Nothing,
The
no.
office space hadn't been built.
Yeah.
It was just the mezzanine and kind of early stages, early days. A little bit different to how it is now. But what I think everyone would like to know, the story with this. Explain this to us a little bit, because I have just said that this can be won literally for free.
Yeah, well, as I think you know, I also had a yellow Lotus Emira.
You did indeed, yeah.
I did, and I couldn't afford having both the Ferrari and the Lotus, and the Ferrari for me was just that little bit more special. So that had to stay, and the Lotus went. But I've always had a big soft spot for these cars. I love the design, I love the way they look, especially with the V6 engine. And I've always said to you, if you ever think about doing anything with this car, phone me. And you did,
Yeah.
and we've managed to get this fantastic partnership off the ground to be able to offer this car for free for anyone that is a BOTB customer. So maybe you haven't ever kind of played BOTB, you don't know what it's about. BOTB are the guys that have given away, you know, dream cars to thousands of winners over the last, I think, nearly 25 years.
Yeah.
Because you've been working with BOTB in partnership
More than a decade,
Yeah,
having
for sure.
played with my dad, you know, my dad playing when we were a little bit younger and stuff. And we've done many things over the years. I've joined you to surprise winners. You know, you're always turning up and letting people know that, well, they don't know in advance that they've won a car. But the difference with this case is that you don't have to do a whole lot, really.
Not a lot, no. I mean, if you've never entered or you don't have a BOTB account, just by signing up at botb.com or clicking the link in the description of this video, you can get a free ticket to win this exact Emira. This one could be on your driveway in just a few weeks' time. And maybe you're a BOTB customer already. Well, make sure you're following us on all of our social media channels, because we've got loads of opportunities to earn free tickets as well for free, which will be fantastic. So lots of opportunities for free tickets for people to win this car for free.
No joke. Literally no joke.
Yeah, for free.
Someone is going to win this for nothing.
Yep.
I'm standing here scratching my head because I'll be a little bit jealous of the person who wins this for nothing. But that's BOTB giving this away. We've worked together for many years. For the time being, I think we need to take it for a last drive. Will you join me? We'll get it started, take it out.
I'd love to.
Go have a little run in the Emira, let you know a little bit more about what it's like. There's something about driving a car like this on these kinds of roads, right?
Especially a V6 supercharged sports car.
The sound behind you, in fact, the moving actuators and things on the top of the engine right through the rear window. Like, the view is amazing, the sound of it's amazing. And here in England especially, where you have these small, twisty country lanes, this is still pretty small and lightweight compared to most modern cars.
Yeah.
You did a bit of driving with yours?
Yeah, quite a bit actually before I sold it. And the thing that I suppose for me, that I'm like looking down at your left hand moving a gear stick, I'm like, this is proper driving. You're getting to move a gear stick around.
It's quite amazing actually in the current day that Lotus still make this. It's kind of the last hurrah for Lotus with all the electric stuff, right?
Yep.
Electra, Emea, the new era. And yet this is like pure old school, what Lotus were always famous for, making a fun, nimble sports car.
Great handling sports car, exactly.
Which is literally exactly what this does. And it's surprisingly usable. Like this thing, it's surprisingly practical, comfortable, dailyable, and just generally easy to live with.
That is something that's great about this. You're right, it ticks a lot of boxes. And it's a car that puts a smile on your face if you're driving it or if you're just looking at it.
Now, I originally spec'd this with the sport chassis, which actually still rides surprisingly nicely on these kinds of roads, because I thought it would be more of like a track day type toy for me. I ended up basically daily driving it for a while because it really is that mixture of fun, perhaps a little bit bright and bold for my purposes. Maybe if I had reconsidered what I was actually going to end up doing with it, I would have gone for a grey or the dark green or something.
Okay.
But it looks amazing.
See, I also had one in yellow, as I'm sure you remember, and it's definitely my colour.
Yeah.
I love it. It's bold, it's exciting. And that engine is so good.
It's just confident to drive. Like, throw it through some of the twistier stuff here.
This road's wicked.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a lot of fun to drive. I sound like we're doing almost a sales pitch of the car, but it really is a fun thing. And that begs the question, like, why am I letting it go? And it's a really hard one to answer, other than that I just struggle to find the time to drive it now, because for the commute I tend to use my smaller hot hatches, Focus RS, the UBA, the Clio V6 even sometimes, the 1M, and then for the supercar drives I'm lucky to have the collection that I do. So this has found itself not really being driven as much as it needs to, which is why it's time for you guys to find it a new home.
Well, this is what's really exciting, right? Because there's a lot of people that would never be able to afford a sports car like this, and that's the joy of BOTB. That's why it was set up 25 years ago, was to allow people the opportunity to own a car for, you know, a couple of quid. And for the fact that we can offer this Lotus Emira for free is even better. So someone's going to get to own this car for free. It will not cost them a penny, which is just mind-blowing. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's totally bonkers. So over the years, you have handed over some incredible supercars.
Yep.
We've been together with Lambos and just like mad machines.
Yeah, we've done a few Uruses.
Like, you must have that, like, do you still have the constant smile, like when you're surprising somebody, it's like, this is yours?
Yeah, because I think part of the love of the job for me is that I never know what the winner's going to be like. So when I knock on that person's door, I have no idea if they're going to be ecstatic, jumping around, screaming. I don't know if they're the kind of person that's actually just a lot quieter. It's excitement for me. And then getting to hand the keys over to a very special car for them. It's a car that they've played for. It's a car that they want to win. It's really exciting.
I should also point out, by the way, that the car is, of course, less than 2 years old, so it still has the manufacturer's warranty.
Yep.
It's been serviced correctly on schedule. It's been looked after, as it should be, as all of my cars are. Set up, ready to go for the next person to go out and drive it and enjoy it like we are.
Someone's going to have a lot of fun in this.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fun.
While we are absolutely in the right element for this car, I have a kind of crazy question. What happens if the winner is somewhere else, or freakish thing to think about, doesn't want the Emira?
Well, good question. So if the winner, we turn up at their house maybe with their car, or we video call them to say that they're the winner of, you know, Shmee's Lotus Emira for free, and for some reason they don't want it, there is a cash alternative, so they can take the cash if they don't want the car. And I suppose what's really nice about that is not only does the winner get a load of money that they could, you know, use to help buy a house or do whatever they want to do with that money, there's then, I suppose, another opportunity for somebody to buy the car.
Oh yeah, true. That's quite funny.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have no idea who's going to win, what kind of situation they're in, whether or not they really want the car, or whether they say, you know what, a load of my money in my bank account would be really quite useful right now. We'll have to see whenever, you know, we find out who the winner is.
I have to say, by the way, when you drive this like this, you'd have to be crazy to turn this thing down.
I know.
This is so much fun, and it kind of makes me, in a way, wish I was holding on to it a little bit longer.
No, can't say that now. Can't say that now.
Every time I do drive this car in recent times, I have said the same to myself. I've been like, am I really considering letting it go? Is that really what's going on here? I think we all do that, don't we? You get very attached to our cars and what you've done with them and the memories and that kind of fun thing. But I guess that's part of the car's story, right? With this car, for example, it's all on the channel. It's all been documented from when it was being built to delivery to everything it's done through to today.
I also have a funny feeling whoever wins a car, and if they do end up taking it, I think they might let you drive it again.
Oh, that would be quite fun. I'd actually really love that.
Yeah.
The person out of you guys who wins this, we can do something in the future. That would be really, really cool, actually.
That would be great.
We should see if that can happen. Another interesting topic to me about cars like this, and it's similar with your 458 actually, is the amount of power they have. Because this is 400 horsepower, right? Yeah. 400 horsepower is a lot, don't get me wrong. Like, if you compare it, we were just talking off camera about the 296, 830. Compared to that, 400 is not a lot. But in the real world, when you're actually out driving and you don't want to find yourself in jail, 400 horsepower is enough to do this. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Sounds so good.
Without getting yourself in too much trouble.
It's usable power, right?
Yes.
That's it, I think. You know, a lot of people say they have a lot of fun in Lotuses because, you know, the engine's small, you can rev them high, and they're great fun, and you don't have to be doing silly speeds to enjoy it.
Yeah, completely. 400 to 500 is an epic sweet spot. In a lighter car, you can always have a little bit less as well. Remember that. This is like, funny fact, This is about 1,000 kilos lighter than the new M5. I'm sure you've seen some of the memes about the new M5 and things that are lighter than the new M5.
Yeah.
This is about 1,000 kilos lighter.
That's mad.
I know it's a much smaller car and a smaller engine, etc., etc., and it doesn't have any hybrid gubbins, but that is pretty insane to think about.
And weight makes such a big difference in a car. Like, people sometimes gloss over the fact a car is either very heavy or very light. It makes a huge difference when it comes to brake horsepower per ton.
Completely. Power to weight, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
The thing I kind of actually wish I would have done a little bit more of with this is that you have some luggage storage space behind the engine, which is quite unusual. Normally in a car that's mid-engine, your storage would be up front, but you do have some space at the back. You also have a surprising amount of space behind the seats.
Yeah.
So you can actually fit 3 flight-sized trolley bags behind the seats here. I have tested that. You can stand them up vertically behind you, and 2 decent-sized soft bags in the boot. So you could actually go away for like one of the marathon road trip journeys that I do in this on its own, not needing any kind of support car.
Yeah, with no trouble.
No trouble at all. Yeah. I've also got to say, and I hope, touch some wood here, I'm not going to cause trouble, nothing's gone wrong with this car. You know, the kind of, again, meme, lots of trouble, usually serious. Nothing's gone wrong. I've had no trouble. This has worked perfectly. Fingers crossed everywhere.
I was always slightly worried about this car for Lotus because it was their kind of first step into proper, I suppose, new era technology car. And there's, I know the engine's from one of their older cars, but everything else is, brand new. There's touch screens, there's, digital entertainment systems and everything. But it's worked really well.
Yeah. The early cars when they were just delivered had some software gremlins, things with the SOS system and stuff like that, but they tidied up all of that software and made it work properly.
Just an update needed,
And since then, good to go. Absolutely golden, which has surprised me. And I enjoy things like the wireless Android Auto and stuff like that. Just makes life a little easier. Again, the daily car thing. And it's pretty easy to drive.
Yeah.
It's the other thing. You might be thinking that it might be difficult, but it's...
No, it's a really easy car to drive.
It's more technical than the equivalent Cayman. A little bit more driver-focused, sports... challenge.
For me, it's the gearbox. Yeah. I love the gearbox. It's just so notchy, and every time you change gear, it puts another smile on your face.
A bit old school.
Yes.
Still a little bit of that older generation. You've got to do it yourself. You're in charge. You could opt to have the car with an auto, which was an interesting choice.
I've driven it in auto. It takes away the fun a bit for me. It's not bad. It's still a fun, sporty car, but for me, this car, the big selling point is that manual gearbox.
It needs this. Love it. Shame there's so much traffic, otherwise I'd be absolutely flooring it out onto the motorway. Let's go. Brilliant. A lot of fun. Like I say, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. We're coming up towards one of my favourite tunnels in the world, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with that as well. But I will miss this car. Somebody is going to really enjoy this thing and have a whole lot of fun with it. Right, small drop of the windows, just a little bit, so we get the sound without all the wind. Drop the gears. Can't really hear all that much. There we go, higher in the rev range. It's such a cool noise. V6s are great. I have a number of V6s, the Clio, the 296, the Ford GT, and this at the moment, until about 10 minutes time. But I think this thing sounds wonderful.
This is your last blast through this tunnel.
Literally. Yes.
Supercharged V6.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, we're back, and this is the car. This is it's still absurd to me to say this. Can you just remind us again how somebody can win this for free? For literal free?
For free, yes.
Can we say it again?
Yeah, for free. For free. Literally will cost you nothing. Just head to the BOTB website, botb.com, or of course, click the link in the bottom of this video. And as soon as you sign up, you will get automatically given 1 free ticket to win this exact car. And of course, if you've been a BOTB player for the last few years, or even just the last couple of weeks, there are lots of opportunities to get free tickets for this car that will be coming over the next few days, the next few weeks. So yeah, somebody watching this video, I would imagine, will be the new owner of this in a few weeks' time.
Which is crazy. And the way this is going to work is it will literally go from my name on the ownership certificate to the person who wins it.
Correct.
They're going to be signed on there. It's their car, no funny business nonsense, no funny games. It's insane and super cool. Totally unique situation, opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what we do at BOTB. We create these opportunities, and thank you for allowing us to do it with this fantastic car. Have you got the key?
I do. But you know what? Before I give you the key,
give me the key.
I am going to show everyone around the specifications.
That's
so
a good
we'll
idea.
go through that. I'll show you a few more of the options that everything about. What you could be taking home. I know this might come across a little bit overkill and very much an advert, but I hope you appreciate how crazy it is that the car I bought for over £80,000, thanks to BOTB, someone's winning for nothing. You don't have to go and buy a whole load of raffle tickets. Literally nothing to drive away in this car. Now I want to show you a little bit more around the specifications. So I chose the Hethel Yellow, as we've talked about. I went for the black pack, which gives you the gloss black roof and the mirrors, because I love that dual tone look. I've always been a big fan of that. Then I chose for the silver wheels. You had a few different options with the black calipers. I also opted, as you have with the Sport chassis, for the Sport Cup 2 tyres. I'm a big fan of Sport Cup 2 tyres. Yes, of course, when the conditions are awful, they're not necessarily ideal, but in most circumstances, they give you a whole ton of feedback, and I think suit this car really well. Having now driven it a load, including at the Nürburgring, they work perfectly. On the inside, to match that silver theme, we have the ice grey leather, which is bright and looks amazing. Lotus did a stunning job of the interior of this. I also opted for the black Alcantara for the steering wheel, again fitting more with that sporty vibe and feel out of the car. But there weren't really a ton of different things to spec. It was very much fully loaded in terms of technology. You didn't have to add all of the infotainment and stuff like that. All of the first editions, including their plaques here and on the inside, came with all of that as standard. And it looks mega. We've had a full induction tour with the car. You've seen the videos, so you can dive into that in more detail if you'd like to find out more about it. But I just think the design of this, it's like a baby Avaya, the electric hypercar, looks unbelievable, and someone is going to enjoy it a ton. I should mention there are some T&Cs which you'll find at BOTB.com, and as you can probably expect, I'm going to be retaining the registration, so it'll have the standard issue registration that goes with the car from the time at which I purchased it. But this is heading to a new home. It is a huge thanks to Christian for coming down today. It is a huge thanks to BOTB for making this opportunity possible. It's unbelievable. It is absolutely insane, but I'm excited to meet the person who does win my Emira. What a thing to be able to say. Do check out BOTB.com, sign up, you will receive the ticket. If you've used BOTB before, as Christian said, do stay tuned for plenty of opportunities to receive a ticket to be entered in to potentially win this car as well down the line. For today though, I think that is going to be all. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed coming along for the last drive for me in the Lotus Emira. It will now stay parked up until the time comes for this to head to its new home. That's it for now though. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers. All right, time to say goodbye.
Cheers,
see you later.
Bye.
What's up?
Sorry, I've just realised I haven't actually got anywhere to store this. Can I leave it here?
Oh, go on then.
Yeah, I'll leave it here. As soon as we've got the winner, I'll drive it to the winner.
Go on,
yeah,
sounds
right.
like a good plan. Let's
Thank
keep
you.
it here.
All right,
Let's keep enjoying it for a bit.